7 myths about nuclear power that you've probably heard in conversations, and why they're completely wrong. Let's jump right into it. Number 1. Nuclear power plants take forever to build. Opponents often claim that building a nuclear power plant takes 15 to 20 years. And looking at recent European projects like Olkiluoto 3 and Flamanville, they seem to have a point, but cherry-picking the absolute worst-case delays just distorts the real picture. These massive delays weren't caused by physics, but by two main factors. First, paralyzing red tape, and second, complete loss of supply chain routine after decades of construction halts. When you look at broad historical data, 7 years used to be the European standard. And countries with active building routines prove it's still possible today. Japan, for example, built its fleet of advanced boiling water reactors in under 4 to 5 years. Nuclear can be slow if bureaucracy stalls it and if there's no building routine. But put these two factors aside and it's a manageable task. Number 2. Nuclear power is the most expensive way to produce electricity. Opponents love to cite astronomically high costs for nuclear energy. But they're missing the bigger financial picture. The vast majority of a nuclear power plant's costs comes from upfront construction and financing interest. Actual operating and fuel costs are remarkably low. And yes, during the first 20 to 30 years, paying off a new power plant is expensive, especially if the construction was delayed. But once that initial debt is paid off, a plant can operate for another 40 to 60 years, producing cheap, reliable electricity for around 2 to 3 cents per kilowatt hour. Neither wind nor solar power can match that kind of predictable 24/7 baseload power at that scale once the facility is fully written off. Period. Number 3. Nuclear power is too dangerous to control. Disasters like Chernobyl or Fukushima made people fear nuclear power like a ticking time bomb. And yes, we shouldn't downplay these accidents, but we have to look at the cold, hard numbers. You know, every source of energy carries a unique death toll. From air pollution to mining and construction accidents. When you measure fatalities per terawatt hour of electricity, nuclear ranks alongside with solar and wind as one of the safest energy sources on the planet. You're roughly 40 times more likely to die from a hydro dam collapse, and up to 1,000 times more likely to die from your coal power plant next door. Additionally, modern reactors contain safety measures like core catches, and next-gen designs are built to be physically impossible to melt down. Therefore, statistically, nuclear safety should be the least of your worries. Number 4. Nuclear waste is an unsolvable massive problem. Just mention nuclear waste and people imagine oceans of green goo spilling from leaky barrels. And that might be true in the world of Homer Simpson. But in reality, high-level radioactive waste, mostly spent fuel rods, accounts for only 3% of total nuclear waste. You wanna know how much that is? If your entire lifetime electricity came purely out of nuclear, your personal share of high-level radioactive waste would fit into one can of soda. And while politicians keep debating, engineers in Finland have already solved the problem. The Onkalo repository seals nuclear waste 400 meters deep in stable bedrock. And fun fact, if radiation is your concern, you should be much more worried about coal power plants. Burning coal releases fly ash containing uranium and thorium, exposing surrounding communities to more radiation than a nuclear power plant ever could. Number 5. Nuclear power is a gateway to nuclear weapons. People often confuse nuclear energy with nuclear weapons just because they share the same word nuclear. And as a matter of fact, early Cold War designs like the Soviet RBMK were indeed dual-use reactors. But modern commercial power plants are a completely different story. Commercial reactors run on low-enriched uranium, usually just 3 to 5% of uranium-235. Weapon-grade uranium on the other side needs over 90% enrichment. You can't just take a fuel rod and build a bomb out of it. You need a massive specialized enrichment infrastructure. Even the plutonium that is produced in fuel rods is highly contaminated with isotopes that make it unusable for reliable weapons. And on top of that, the International Atomic Energy Agency tracks every gram of nuclear material globally. So let's get this straight. Nuclear power plants are not a gateway to building bombs. Not anymore. Number 6. Modern reactors could simply burn nuclear waste. Some nuclear proponents claim that we can solve the nuclear waste issue just using fast breeder reactors that burn old nuclear fuel. While the physics behind transmutation is real, calling it an easy solution is just a huge myth. First, these kinds of liquid metal reactors are notoriously hard to operate. Countries like France had to learn this the hard way with its Super Phoenix reactor, which became a massive money pit due to endless sodium leak issues. Second, you need a massive, hyper-expensive reprocessing infrastructure. And right now, mining fresh uranium is simply cheaper. And third, even breeder reactors can't eliminate waste entirely. You still need a geological repository for leftover fission products. Fast breeder reactors are a fascinating technical concept, but they are far away from being a good solution for nuclear waste today. Number 7. We are going to run out of uranium in just a few decades. Critics often argue that nuclear power is not sustainable because proven uranium reserves will deplete soon. And I can tell you, they won't. First of all, proven reserves only measure what's profitable to mine at today's market price. When demand increases, so does the price. And this makes it more profitable to unleash new deposits that haven't been mined yet. Second, uranium isn't the only fuel available. Thorium is roughly 3 times more abundant in the Earth's crust and can power future reactor concepts like the molten salt reactor. And third, even if conventional fuel becomes scarce, fast breeder reactors could generate new fuel from spent fuel. Resource scarcity is a myth. Nuclear power isn't a temporary solution. It's an energy source capable of powering humanity for centuries to come. Nuclear power certainly remains an interesting technology, even to the point that countries like the United Arab Emirates are now embracing it. If you want to learn more about that, you can watch this video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which myth surprised you the most. See you in the next video.